Alright, welcome back. This time we are going to be talking about the 5v5 map that just got released here yesterday, I believe, on the Vainglory Twitter page. We do have a lot of changes from the last map we had, and maybe for the better, maybe not, I'm not sure. But we also have some structures in the main bases here too that I definitely want to talk about. But let's go ahead and just get into it. So, to start off, yes, we have 3 turrets per lane, very standard of a 5v5 MOBA. Nothing different really there. I'm sure the visual aesthetics of the turrets probably are different than what we last saw, but we can't really tell from this distance, right? And with this quality of this image looking like it's pretty shit, I mean, we can't really tell what those turrets look like. But anyways, moving on. So we have in the actual bases themselves, so we have the Vein Crystal, which is pretty standard for Vainglory, hence, you know, the Vein Crystal. We do have the 3 structures that are adjacent to it. So we have the 3 turrets in each lane, and once you get through those, you have 3 more structures, and I'm not sure what they are. It could be a multiple of things. I mean, it might be, you know, potentially the additional turrets that we have like in 3v3 mode. You go through the lane, you take down the 3 turrets, and then you have 2 more right next to the vein to take out as well, right? So maybe that's what it is in the 5v5 mode. Instead of 2 turrets, you have additional to the 3 in lane. You have 3 in the main base. Maybe that's what it is. Or my other, I think theory would be that it's similar to what you would have in League of Legends, where you have these buildings called inhibitors. And when you take down those buildings, it will spawn the super minions in the opposing team. So the team that takes down the enemy inhibitor will get super minions. And what those super minions will do is that they'll push down the lane a lot more effectively than a normal minion and push into the base of your enemy and help you push for victory. It doesn't mean that it is an automatic victory, it just means it makes it a little bit easier for you to push in and secure that win. It's another layer of strategy, and I think that's definitely a high possibility because the more strategy you have, the more intense these matches are in a tournament scene, and that's what you want for a tournament, right? To have those intense moments. There's different layers of strategy that you can kind of work towards and have a little bit more of a unique approach during each match, how a team wants to approach the actual, the way they achieve victory. I don't know. But anyways, so again, it might be just additional turrets, or it might be inhibitors like League of Legends, where if you take them down, they spawn super minions for the team that took down the building. But of course, like the League of Legends, maybe they respawn too after a set amount of time. So even though if they take down your inhibitor, if you can hold out for enough time, your inhibitor will respawn and stop the super minions from coming. Things like that. I don't know. But anyways, moving on, we do have the river as well, which has seen some changes, unfortunately, at least in my opinion. So last time in the map before, we did have, so if you go to the center of the map where that big circle is, where the cross is, and you kind of go down towards what looks like the river, right? You go in that river, and before there was a wall, a U-shaped wall dead center in the river. And that was very unique because you don't really see that in a 5v5 mode in any MOBA right now. A lot of times they have them kind of offset to the side, the objectives I'm talking about. So you'll see here to the right and left, you'll see some, walls where you might see some bosses, and they're kind of offset to the side. They're not in the river at all. They're just kind of off to the side. Whereas in the previous map, we had it to where it was actually in the river, and it made it a very interesting kind of atmosphere for team fights because you don't normally see that. And the way it was placed, it just seemed like it would be an interesting place to have a team fight, to fight for that objective, but we don't really have that. So it's a little different. It's more standard 5v5 format that you would see in the majority, if not all, of the 5v5 game modes that you have throughout the world here right now. League of Legends, Dota, AOV, Mobile Legends, just a plethora of games that have a very similar format. And it's unfortunate that it looks like we might be heading the same routes, a very standard format for a river in the 5v5 map. I was really hoping for that additional wall dead center in the river, which was super unique, but we just don't have it in this map. I'm hoping that this map isn't set in stone and that they still might add some things here, but we'll have to see. As far as the jungle, I mean, it looks like it's pretty standard. It looks like we might have 3 spots for minions, maybe 4. So 3, maybe 4 minions per side of the jungle. In total, being like 6 to 8 minions per team to go through in the jungle. And of course, you're probably going to have buffs like the blue buff and the red buff. Blue buff being something similar to where you gain energy over time, and you also get a little bit of cooldown as long as that buff is, you know, still active on you. It has like a set duration of like maybe 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And then the red buff is more so like based around an offensive effect, so it increases your damage or does like a bleed effect on your basic attacks, things like that. Maybe even a slow, I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a lot of information that we don't have. We're taking everything at face value. We can only see what we see here with our eyes. There's a lot of effects, a lot of different depths to the map that we don't know yet, because we just don't know what minions exist, what those effects of those minions do, what happens when a turret drops, what happens when one of these buildings in the main base drops. We don't know. It might be a multiple things, like, for instance, every time a turret drops, it empowers, you know, the boss. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. Just, you know, just different things that might make the map unique. Maybe not visually, but how the map reacts to the match might be still very unique in its own right. We'll have to see. I don't know if we're going to have a Kraken. There hasn't been any information revealed on that, but I'm assuming we're going to have something similar. We're probably going to have, since Kraken is such a staple minion monster, whatever you want to call him, in Vainglory, I'm assuming we're going to have something similar. Something probably far greater than the Kraken. Something far more ferocious, far more, you know, like crazy looking in general, in the river somewhere. So one of the two sides I'm sure is going to be placed. I'm speculating because I keep seeing the queen on a dragon during these little teasers for this map and for the 5v5 mode right now lately. And I'm thinking, because we haven't even seen anything related to the queen being released. We've seen things around her lore, like characters around her lore. So like Arden, Catherine, you know, Kestrel. Those all revolve around the queen, but we haven't really seen the queen herself or even had any remotely remote confirmation thinking that she might be coming. And I'm thinking that maybe she might be placed as one of the bosses in the 5v5 mode. And maybe it'll be like where she spawns, she's the queen, she's standing there on her, or she's sitting there on her throne, and then all of a sudden, you know, the team attacks her. And midway through the fight, she summons a giant dragon, which is shown in the image with her riding a dragon. She summons that dragon, and the fight gets crazy. But if you actually get her, if you actually, you know, kill her, she will help you push down lane like the Kraken does. Maybe something like that. I don't know. I think that'd be a cool idea to actually incorporate the queen into the map itself. Maybe not so much a character, but the map itself, because she's such a staple figure in the game. And I think it'd be fitting for her to be part of the map and not so much part of the character pool. But hey, if she was the hero too, that'd be kind of cool as well, I guess. But anyways, there we go. Not much more to talk about. I mean, there's some different aesthetics as far as the theme. It's a little softer. It's not so heavily like medieval influenced or steampunk influenced. It seems a little bit more neutral this time around. The colors too are very neutral as well. They're not too heavy. There's some games that I see where like you have like the dark and then the light, and the theme is very dark on one side, very light on the other. This one seems a little less of the contrast. It's more so like this area is really lush and green, and this one's a little bit more dry and brown. You know, it's nothing too drastic. But anyways, there we go. I mean, there's probably more to talk about. Just from what we see here, there isn't much I can think off the top of my head that will be, you know, something we can talk about and brainstorm. But if you guys have anything that maybe I missed, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. Put it down there so I can go and check it out and respond to you guys. I am interested to see what you guys are thinking about this map, whether you like it, whether you don't, what you suspect things are gonna, or what you suspect are gonna, or some of the things you suspect are gonna happen in the map as far as the objectives, what those buildings are in the base too, or do you think they're turrets? Do you think they're like the inhibitors like I mentioned? I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something to brainstorm and think about until the actual release of the mode. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. And I'll try to get this news out as fast as possible as it trickles in if they do have more before the reveal. Because I know a lot of you guys don't use social media like Twitter or not YouTube, Facebook. And YouTube's really the only way you go. And so hopefully I can deliver to those people who don't really know what's going on quite on social media. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.